Here's the thing most people don't realize about D&D. The dice and dragons are not what change you. It's what happens between the rolls, the choices you make, the risks you take, and the way your friends respond. That's where the real transformation happens. By the end of this video, you're gonna see exactly how this game rewires your confidence, your creativity, and even the way you deal with real life situations. Welcome to the Laughing Lantern. Now let's dive in. One of the most profound changes many players experience through D&D is a boost in confidence and self-esteem. Stepping into the shoes of a bold adventurer can empower you to overcome shyness and social anxiety in real life. In the game, you're encouraged to speak in character, make decisions, and act dramatically. Over time, this safe space to express yourself can translate into greater confidence outside of the game. Therapists have observed that through play, shy and anxious individuals gradually gain confidence and find their voice at the gaming table. In fact, a recent study in Australia found that just after 8 weeks of D&D sessions, participants found significant increases in self-esteem and self-efficacy, their belief in their own abilities. A testament to how powerful the game can be. Now, how does a fantasy game achieve this? Researchers say that part of the magic is the sense of control D&D gives you. When you feel powerless, taking charge of a character's destiny can be liberating. Players often report feeling a strong sense of control in-game, especially when they lack control in real life. By confronting challenges as your character, slaying a dragon, or negotiating peace with an enemy, you practice handling difficult situations in real life. Succeeding in these imagined scenarios can make you feel more capable of tackling real-world problems, replacing helplessness with a sense of agency and confidence. It's not just the researchers noticing these changes. Many players, myself included, have felt D&D's confidence boost firsthand. When you spend an evening acting as a clever rogue or commanding paladin, you gradually break out of your shell. Speaking in front of others becomes easier, decision-making feels more natural, and you learn to trust your own voice. In other words, pretending to be brave in game can actually help you be braver in real life. It's fake it till you make it. Even those who start off anxious and socially isolated often grow in confidence and begin seeking out more face-to-face social interactions. The takeaway here is D&D gives you permission to be bold. That boldness doesn't end when the session does. If you ask any D&D player about what they love, chances are they'll mention the limitless creativity. D&D is essentially collaborative storytelling. You and your friends are inventing an epic tale together, improvising characters, dialogues, solutions, and even entire worlds I've seen. This creative aspect is for fun, but at the same time, it exercises your imagination like a muscle. And sometimes, it can spill over into your daily life in surprising ways. There are not that many hobbies out there that provides the unique level of creativity that D&D offers. Players not only get to build the world, but they live in it. Think about it. One week you might be devising a strategy to outwit a sphinx, and the next you're coming up with a backstory for your half-elf wizard. Every session is basically a workout for your imagination. How does this change you? For one, you become a better problem solver and a better thinker, but we will cover that in the next bit. You may also find yourself more able to think outside the box in real-world situations. Playing a character might inspire you to approach challenges from different angles, or come up with a creative solution at work or school. Storytelling skills can improve too. Many D&D players report that they have become better writers or communicators because they practice describing scenes or conveying their characters' feelings during the game. If you've ever struggled with writer's block or dull group projects, a dose of D&D might unleash some new ideas. Moreover, creative expression in D&D is personally fulfilling. You're not passively consuming a story, you're actively creating it. This can rekindle that childlike imagination we often lose in adulthood. Whether you're drawing a map of a mystical land, acting out a character's persona, or simply imagining vivid scenes in your mind, you're engaging parts of your brain that lead to greater creativity in everyday life. Don't be surprised if after a few adventures, you start approaching everyday problems with a bit more inventive flair. I feel like people gravitate towards D&D more often because it allows you to do something. And in an era coming off the back end of a pandemic and the great financial crisis that's going on throughout most of the world, I think it's a good thing to have. But with D&D, all that goes out the window, and you can. D&D isn't typically a solo activity. It is a team game at its core. Gathering around a table to play D&D is a social experience. and it has a remarkable way of turning strangers into friends. Many people who were on the fence about D&D discovered that it's actually an amazing way to meet people and build social skills. In D&D, you and your fellow players must communicate constantly, plan together, negotiate, and collectively deal with whatever challenges the Dungeon Master throws at you. This cooperative gameplay naturally boosts your social abilities. In fact, studies on collaborative games indicate that the teamwork required in D&D improves real-life social interaction skills. Simply put, the game forces you to talk to each other, which can translate into better communication and collaboration outside the game. Here are some key social benefits that come from playing D&D. Communication skills. You learn to express your ideas clearly and voice your thoughts in a group, or strategizing out loud. You practice speaking up. Research has noted that D&D players often develop more confident and intricate verbal expression during gameplay. Teamwork and collaboration. Every adventure is a team effort. You'll coordinate tactics in battle and solve puzzles together. This can foster teamwork and even leadership skills as players take turns leading the group through different challenges. Learning to rely on others and be reliable for them is a social skill that carries into classrooms, workplaces, and friendships. Camaraderie. The friendships. The shared experience of vanquishing monsters or surviving thrilling quests creates a strong bond. Many gaming circles become tight-knit groups of friends that end up supporting each other outside the game itself. If you've been feeling lonely or isolated, joining a D&D group can connect you with people who share your interests and welcome you as a part of the story. What's especially powerful is how inclusive the D&D community can be. People of different backgrounds, ages, and personalities come together over a common love for adventure. For those who struggle socially due to anxiety, autism, or other reasons, D&D can be a social training ground that doesn't feel like training at all. Improved communication is a key outcome here. These players learn to articulate their thoughts and negotiate with players throughout the game. Over time, D&D can help break down the social barriers and build real-life connections. And remember, the friendships you form through D&D often extend beyond the game, from chatting about character ideas outside sessions to celebrating each other's birthdays. For someone on the fence about playing, this aspect alone can be life-changing. One surprising way D&D can change you is by increasing your empathy and emotional intelligence. How does fighting goblins make you more empathetic, though? It comes down to the role-playing aspect. In D&D, you aren't just yourself. You might take on the role of a noble hero, a sly thief, or even a character very different from your own background and worldview. By role-playing different perspectives, players practice putting themselves in someone else's shoes, which is a core component of empathy, is it not? Research on role-playing games has noted that this kind of perspective taking can lead to greater understanding of others' feelings and viewpoints. Essentially, D&D can teach you how to walk a mile in another person's boots, even if that person is a fictional elf or a dwarf. Beyond characters, D&D stories often present complex moral choices and ethical dilemmas. Should your party spare a villain who surrendered? How will you divide the treasure amongst your group? These scenarios force your players to consider morality, consequences, and others' feelings. Grappling with such in-game moral decisions can sharpen your real-world ethical reasoning and empathy. You'll learn to see the shades of gray in situations, to discuss options with your team, and to care about what happens to imaginary characters, and by extension, the feelings of the real people at the table. All of this can make you more emotionally attuned and compassionate over time. D&D also creates a safe context to express and process emotions. Because you're playing a character, you might explore emotions that you personally struggle with. For instance, if you're usually reserved, you might play a bold, charismatic bard and experience what it's like to act outgoing, like anxiety or fear that might mirror our own. It's a proven fact by mental health professionals that D&D allows players to externalize their own feelings and struggles, making it easier to explore and process emotions in a controlled environment. By seeing how your character deals with fear, anger, or grief, you indirectly teach yourself how to handle these emotions. This kind of emotional rehearsal can build real-world emotional intelligence. You become more aware of your feelings, more empathetic towards others, and learn how to cope with challenges. The emotional support from the group is a big factor, though. D&D groups often become support networks where players encourage each other. One study emphasizes that the social support nurtured by playing D&D gives players an emotional connection and a space in which they can express themselves freely. Knowing that your friends accept your wacky characters and wild ideas can increase your confidence to be yourself and empathize with others being themselves as well. In short, D&D isn't just about slaying monsters, it's about understanding different perspectives and feelings, which is a skill that will benefit you in everyday life. I've done like 15 takes on how to ask for subscribers because it just feels wrong, but if you find this stuff interesting, then please consider it, I guess. Do you ever hear the phrase, think outside the box? In D&D, thinking outside the box is practically required. Each game session presents players with problems to solve, puzzles, traps, mysteries, or tactical battles. Unlike in video games, there's no single predetermined solution. You and your team have to brainstorm and experiment to overcome obstacles. This makes D&D a fantastic trainer for your problem-solving and critical thinking skills. Players learn to analyze situations, weigh options, plan strategies, and adapt when things go sideways. Because, let's be fair, if it's not going sideways, you're not playing D&D. These are mental muscles that grow with use. So don't be surprised after months of adventuring, you find yourself approaching complex tasks or problems in real life with improved clarity and ingenuity. Decision making is another aspect sharpened by D&D. Every turn, players must make choices. Some trivial, some literally life or death, and you learn to evaluate risks and consequences. Plus, because D&D is a group game, you often make decisions together, which teaches negotiation and consensus building. For example, you might debate with your party whether to fight or negotiate a dragon, each person offering perspectives until the group agrees on a plan. That's excellent practice for any collaborative decision-making that would happen in work or family life. When a crazy plan fails, or a dice roll doesn't go your way, you face setbacks. This builds a mindset of persistence and adaptability. Instead of getting discouraged by failure, seasoned D&D players often laugh it off or try a different strategy. Adopting this resilient mindset in real life can help you tackle challenges without giving up. Seeing setbacks as puzzles to solve rather than insurmountable problems can be a good thing for your brain. D&D trains you to think smarter, adapt faster, and persist longer. Truly valuable skills for any quest life throws at you. Beyond specific skills, D&D has a broader impact on mental health and emotional well-being. Life can be stressful as much as it can be overwhelming, and everybody needs a way to cope. For many, D&D serves as a healthy form of escapism and stress relief. When you sit down to play, you temporarily leave behind real-world worries and immerse yourself in a fantasy adventure. That break for your brain can be incredibly rejuvenating. It's not just anecdotal. Players often describe the game as cathartic, a chance to let out emotions and tension in a safe setting. It's important to note that escapism in this context is not about running away from your problems, but recharging so that you can face them again. Orla Walsh, a psychologist who studied D&D's effects, noted that players benefit from the escapism and the positive impact it had on their mental health. When you're battling monsters, you get to feel heroic, which is especially uplifting if your life is filled with feeling powerless. That boost in mood and the sense of accomplishment can carry over after the game, helping you feel more capable in your own life. It's like a mental reset. It's interesting how a few hours of make-believe can restore your sense of agency and reduce feelings of helplessness or anxiety. Another way D&D supports mental health is through the meaningful social support it provides. Loneliness and isolation can be harmful to your mental well-being. D&D counteracts that by bringing people together regularly. You form a routine, say meeting every Friday, right? Which adds structure and something to look forward to at the end of the week. Feeling accepted in a group and having friends to talk to can dramatically improve one's mental health. It's much harder to feel down and anxious when you know you have a band of buddies to talk to. It's no surprise then that therapists and counselors have started to notice the benefits of D&D. Some have even begun incorporating D&D style role-playing in their group sessions. D&D can serve as a form of dress rehearsal for real life, helping people develop skills and confidence that carry over to their personal growth. The therapeutic potential of D&D is now taken seriously enough that researchers suggest wider use of role-playing games as a tool for mental health support, skill development, and social connection across the globe. By now, it's clear Dungeons & Dragons is more than a game. It's a catalyst for growth. I've seen it myself. D&D made me more confident, more outgoing, and gave me friendships that stuck long after the dice stopped rolling. If you're already a player, you know what I mean. And if you're on the fence, let this be your sign. You don't need to be a voice actor or a fancy expert. Just bring your imagination and an open mind. Session by session, you'll find yourself changing, laughing easier, imagining bigger, and speaking more boldly. In the end, whether you're a lifelong DM or a player yourself, D&D has a way of bringing out the best in you. So gather some friends, roll up a character, and see where the story takes you. Your adventure and your growth starts the moment you roll initiative. For those of you who stayed to the end, I'm going to leave all the links of the research that I've done inside of the description, so you can look it over and maybe get more informed yourself. Anyways, I'm the Laughing Lantern. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.